the answer you've been waiting for arrived through Archangel Michael. But it was ignored. Heaven's plans are still in motion, but only for a few minutes more. The heavens themselves recorded this moment, marking it with a sense of urgency that could not be mistaken. The veil between the seen and unseen trembled as the answer you longed for, the very breakthrough you prayed for, descended by the hand of Archangel Michael. This was not a mere thought, not a fleeting impression, but a divine transaction, a scroll sealed with heaven's authority and delivered into the atmosphere of your life. And yet, the moment passed unnoticed. The answer, though present, was brushed aside, ignored, or dismissed as nothing. But heaven is not blind, nor does it forget. What was overlooked did not vanish. It was placed in suspension, hovering within a fragile window of time where mercy still reigns. Plans have not been cancelled. They wait, suspended in holy stillness, tethered to obedience and discernment. This is not a word for every ear. This is not a message for the casual or the curious. It is for the chosen one who feels the weight of silence pressing against their spirit like a stone upon the chest. You know this weight. You know this ache. It is heaven's reminder that unfinished business lingers at the gates of your destiny. The clock of eternity ticks louder now. Stillness, humility, and obedience are demanded in this hour. The Father allows only a few minutes more in the scales of his timing before the window shifts. This is not punishment, but awakening, a call to rise before what was ignored slips into the hands of delay. The answer still hovers. The plans are still alive. But the heavens warn, tarry not, for the minutes are few. Type "I am anointed" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 1122 is now activated. Hear this now, for heaven interrupts your moment. Archangel Michael stands at the threshold of your hearing, not as a distant idea, not as a fading whisper, but as a blazing messenger and warrior of truth. His sword glimmers with the fire of eternity, his voice pierces through distraction, and his presence does not visit by chance. This word comes with urgency, a holy urgency, for the answer you prayed for, the answer you cried for, has already been delivered into your path. Yet it was ignored. Yet it was passed by. And heaven has allowed this interruption, so that you do not miss it a second time. By the rising of the next hourglass of heaven, what was ignored may be lost. The sands of divine timing do not wait for indecision. The heavens operate on a rhythm that cannot be altered by human delay. When the Father decrees a release, angels move in perfect alignment, and when his messengers arrive, they carry the precise answer needed for that very moment. But when that answer is overlooked, heaven does not cancel its word, it warns. That is why you are hearing this now. That is why Michael has been dispatched again, not to deliver what has already been spoken, but to awaken your spirit to the urgency of what is still hanging in the balance. And perhaps you ask yourself, why would heaven allow an answer to be ignored? Why would the Almighty let what you have cried for, begged for, wept for, pass by unnoticed? The mystery is this: heaven tests not only your prayer, but your perception. The Father knows how easily the noise of this world can drown out his whisper. He knows how distractions can blind even the most desperate hearts. So he allows the delay, not as denial, but as revelation. Revelation of your hunger. Revelation of your obedience. Revelation of whether you will lean into the Spirit or remain entangled in the distractions that war for your attention. This word, this voice, this moment, it is not for the multitude. It is not cast carelessly before all. It is selective. It is holy. It is reserved only for the vigilant, only for the chosen, only for the one who feels a tug in their spirit even now as these words pierce the noise. If you feel this interruption in your chest, if you feel the weight of these sentences resting heavy upon your soul, then know, this is heaven reclaiming your attention. This is heaven refusing to let you miss what was delivered once already. This is Archangel Michael calling you back into alignment, warning you of the minutes that remain before the window shifts. This word breaks through your scrolling. This word breaks through your wandering. This word breaks through your scattered thoughts. It was meant to find you here. It was meant to invade your moment. It was meant to sound the trumpet in your spirit before the silence became unbearable. Heaven has broken protocol for you, child of God. It has bent the river of time to call you into remembrance. Do not delay. Do not shrug this off as mere coincidence. The answer has come again. The warrior stands again. The heavens declare again, obey, listen, and awaken, for the next hourglass has already begun to turn. Type I am chosen in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 1414 is now surrounding you. The air around you has been heavier than usual. The stillness in your spirit has not been silence. It has been interference. What was meant to reach you did arrive. The answer you longed for brushed against your atmosphere like a whisper in the wind, but you did not recognize it. And why? Because unseen forces were working in that very moment, determined that your eyes would look elsewhere, that your heart would doubt, that your spirit would wander. The answer was not missed by accident. It was resisted by design. There are whispers behind the veil, whispers that you have felt, but not fully understood. Distraction was not a coincidence. It was sabotage. When Archangel Michael descended with the scroll of heaven's decree, the adversaries of your destiny stirred the air with noise. They lit fires of confusion. They released shadows to blur your vision. They knew the answer came. They knew the release was near. They knew the very thing you prayed for was within your grasp, and so they labored to draw your focus away. Heaven allowed it, not because you are forgotten, but because your spirit needed to awaken to the battle raging over your attention. And now, you feel torn. A part of you remembers the pull. A part of you feels the tug in your chest that something slipped past unnoticed. You feel unrest, a gnawing sense that what was dismissed should have been embraced, that what looked ordinary carried eternity inside it. This unrest is not torment, it is heaven shaking your spirit awake. For the chosen cannot move forward with dull hearing. The chosen cannot sleep while angels war. The chosen cannot remain distracted when heaven's clock ticks down to minutes. Ask yourself, what was missed? What word did you pass by? Was it a conversation, a sign, a sudden nudge that felt too small to matter? What if that insignificant moment was the exact answer you cried for in your secret place? What if the overlooked became the turning point you begged God to release? This is why the weight in your chest grows stronger. This is why your emotions rise up in both longing and fear. It is the Spirit reminding you, heaven did not ignore you. Heaven answered, but you did not see it. And so, here is the disruption, not to torment you, but to realign you. The Father does not allow His chosen to drift endlessly in blindness. He shakes. He unsettles. He disturbs the atmosphere until you can no longer be comfortable in your neglect. This disruption is grace. This mystery is mercy. For even though the answer was ignored, heaven's plans are still in motion. The window has not yet closed. The sands still fall, though quickly. outburst, you are not abandoned in the silence. You are being summoned to perceive again, to discern again, to awaken again. And to the one reading these words with tears rising, to the one feeling the fire stirring in their chest, know this: you are not wrong. You are not imagining the disruption. You are not broken. You are being refined. You are being awakened to the war around you. Heaven is reclaiming your sight, even in this very moment. Type "I am awake" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 888 is now flowing over your life. Child of God, do not be deceived. What you ignored was not ignored in heaven. The silence you felt was not emptiness, but war. The very moment Michael descended with the answer, forces unseen rose up to oppose it. This is the conflict of destinies, that what heaven releases, hell resists. And when you looked away, when you brushed it off, the enemies of your calling rejoiced, hoping that the delay would become a denial. Yet they do not understand this truth. What is sealed in heaven cannot be stolen on earth. What has been decreed cannot be undone. The ignoring of Michael's answer was not just human error. It was a strike in the battlefield of your soul. The adversary sought to use distraction as a weapon, to drag your gaze away, to make the eternal look ordinary. But listen, heaven saw it all. Heaven recorded the hesitation. Heaven marked the tear that slid down your cheek in that quiet place where you prayed for clarity, but received confusion. Heaven does not overlook your struggle, nor does it leave you vulnerable to the snares of the enemy. Instead, heaven watches and then tests. This is not punishment. This is testing. This is the refining fire that burns away your reliance on sight and calls forth your reliance on faith. The Father knows that destiny requires sharpness. He knows that the chosen cannot afford to stumble blind into their calling. That is why this conflict rages, to sharpen you, to awaken you, to burn away the dullness that comes from comfort and complacency. You asked for breakthrough, but breakthrough requires battle. You prayed for answers, but answers require discernment. And so, the test arrives, not to destroy you, but to awaken obedience within you. Do you not see? The battle over your attention was the proof of your importance. Hell does not resist what heaven has not appointed. If you were ordinary, your answer would have come without interference. If you were common, your destiny would not be contested. But because you are chosen, because your name is written in heaven's record, the adversary knew the moment of release had arrived and rushed in to cloud your perception. The fact that you felt torn, the fact that you wrestled with doubt, the fact that silence felt so heavy, all of it was confirmation that you are standing in the center of a war for your future. And so Archangel Michael has not abandoned you. He still wars on your behalf. He stands between your promise and your distraction. He lifts his sword to cut through the lies, the noise, the shadows that fight to keep you blind. Heaven is not angry with you. Heaven is aligning you. The Father is not punishing you. He is preparing you. This is your conflict, but it is also your confirmation. You are chosen. You are seen. You are being sharpened for what is greater than you can presently see. Do not mistake the battle for abandonment. Do not confuse the delay for denial. This is war, but war that ends in your victory. The ignored answer is not lost. It waits, sealed, secured, waiting for the moment your spirit rises above distraction and steps into obedience. And when you do, the very forces that warred against you will watch in terror as the plans of heaven unfold despite them. Type "I am guarded" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 2299 now shields you with fire. Listen closely, for heaven speaks with urgency. Within the next 72 hours, a shift will intensify around you. The pressure you feel rising in your spirit is not random anxiety. It is the alert system of heaven sounding within your chest, announcing that unseen movements are converging. This is not merely a personal struggle. It is a collision of destinies. Something is stirring. Someone is being positioned. And not all who circle you come with pure intentions. You have felt the restless stirring in your atmosphere. You have sensed the heaviness pressing in, the sudden tension that seems to rise without explanation. It is no accident. The adversaries of your assignment are growing uneasy, for they sense what is about to unfold. Some carry jealousy like poison, others carry resentment like chains, and still others are stirred by unseen hands to confront you, to test you, to push against the very edge of your patience. They are not the true enemy, but they are being used as pawns in a greater battle over your destiny. Do not mistake this pressure for chaos. It is not chaos. It is confirmation. Heaven is aligning events with precision, but the adversary is rushing to disrupt the timing. That is why your spirit feels stretched, why your emotions feel unsettled. It is the clash of kingdoms at the threshold of manifestation. And though you may be tempted to retreat into silence out of fear, heaven calls you to recognize the signs and stand firm. Hear me. Delay has consequences. To ignore the weight of this moment is to risk stepping out of alignment with heaven's decree. The window of mercy is open, but it is not eternal. The hourglass continues to pour, and when the final grain of sand falls, the opportunity will shift into another season. This is not to terrify you, but to awaken you. Time is not yours to control. It belongs to the one who wrote your name in his book before the foundations of the earth. Yet take comfort in this. Heaven has not withdrawn. Archangel Michael still stands at the edge of your circumstance, his sword raised, his presence fierce. The Father has not abandoned you. He is shaking you into readiness. The warnings you feel, the quickening in your spirit, the restless dreams that visit your nights, these are not signs of despair but divine alarms reminding you to remain watchful. For in these next 72 hours, alignments will be tested, conversations will carry hidden weight, and decisions will bear eternal consequences. Do not fear. Fear weakens perception. Fear clouds the vision of the chosen. Stand instead in obedience, for obedience is the weapon that cancels delay. When you obey the nudge of the Spirit, you step back into the flow of heaven's timing. What was nearly missed can still be reclaimed, but only if you heed the warning. Heaven has declared that the next movement will not be small. A shaking is a prelude. The conflict is a sign. And what you do in these next hours will determine how the scroll of your destiny unfolds in the days ahead. Rise now. Be alert. Stand still, but stand ready. The sword of Michael is raised, the clock of heaven is ticking, and the warning has been sounded. The time of waiting is ending, and the time of action has come. Type "I am alert" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing node 1717 is now surrounding your steps with divine fire. Beloved, when the winds of battle rise and the air around you grows thick with confusion, the most powerful action you can take is not to rush, not to react, not to lash out. The command from heaven in this hour is stillness. Step back, for heaven wars on your behalf. The battleground is not yours to control, and the outcome is not determined by your striving. It is determined by obedience. Archangel Michael has not descended into your life so that you may fight with human hands. He stands so that you may step into silence and let heaven respond for you. There is power in silence. The adversary thrives on noise, thrives on your reaction, thrives on pulling you into arguments, distractions, and emotional chaos. But when you refuse to speak what the enemy longs to hear, you strip him of his weapon. When you choose stillness, you force the powers of darkness to contend not with your words, but with heaven's decree. For when you do not respond, heaven responds for you. Every moment you hold your peace, the sword of Michael strikes in realms you cannot see. Every time you resist the pull of distraction, angelic armies advance against the forces that resist your destiny. The Spirit calls you now into a deeper discipline, fasting, prayer, meditation. Not as empty rituals, but as sharpened weapons. These are the ways you silence the noise of flesh and amplify the whispers of heaven. When you fast, you cut the cords of distraction. When you pray, you align your heart with the rhythm of eternity. When you meditate on His Word, you clothe your mind in armor that cannot be pierced by the lies of the adversary. Do not neglect these practices, for they are not mere options. They are shields of protection in this fragile hour. Do not forget, you are covered. Even now, angels encamp around you. Their wings form a fortress. Their swords gleam with holy fire. Their presence surrounds you with protection that no enemy can penetrate. Your obedience draws them closer. Your stillness sharpens their defense. Your humility invites their intervention. As you quiet your voice, heaven's voice grows louder. As you still your movement, heaven's armies advance swifter. The covering is not weak, the protection is not thin. It is a canopy of fire, blazing above you, unseen but unbreakable. And so, I charge you, speak less and listen more. Move slower and discern deeper. Refuse to answer every provocation. Refuse to be baited into battles that are beneath your calling. Heaven will vindicate you. Heaven will protect you. Heaven will silence those who rise against you. Your task is not to defend yourself, but to remain positioned under the shadow of the Almighty. For in that shadow, no arrow can pierce, no whisper can wound, no scheme can prosper. Take courage, chosen one. The silence you walk in now is not weakness, it is warfare. The restraint you practice now is not passivity, it is power. Heaven has ordered Michael to fight while you remain still, to strike while you remain hidden, to advance while you remain covered. Do not resist this divine strategy. Trust it, for it is your shield in this hour. Type "I am covered" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 555 now wraps you in divine protection. Hear this now. You are no longer who they assumed you were. You are no longer bound by the labels they placed upon you, nor confined by the judgments spoken against you. The trial you endured has altered you. The delays, the tears, the restless nights, they have forged something within you that neither the enemy nor your own doubts can erase. And announces that you are stepping into a new season of empowerment, one that the enemy never wanted you to discover. For too long, you may have carried the weight of being misunderstood, overlooked, and underestimated. But the silence that once felt like abandonment was, in truth, a refining fire. Heaven was burning away weakness, stripping away false identities, and igniting the core of who you were always meant to be. You are not a victim of missed moments. You are not defined by the answer you ignore. You are a warrior who has been awakened by the very disruption that tried to silence you. Can you not see it? Your wings are unfolding. Where others saw only ashes, heaven has been cultivating flame. Where others thought you were buried, heaven has been planting. The fire you passed through was not meant to consume you, but to refine you, to purify you, to bring forth gold. And now, Archangel Michael declares, rise into the strength you did not know you carried. The same hands that once trembled in doubt are now anointed to war in prayer, to build in faith, to grasp promises that once slipped through your grasp. Child of God, the enemy worked tirelessly to convince you that you were weak. He whispered that you had failed, that missing the answer meant missing your destiny. But the truth stands higher than his lies. You are stronger because of what you endured. Every distraction that tried to break you became the hammer that shaped you. Every silence that pressed against your chest became the training ground for your discernment. Every tear became a seed of power planted in the soil of your spirit. Now the victim narrative ends. No longer will you bow to fear. No longer will you wear the cloak of defeat. You are rising with authority. The trials that once made you question your worth have now revealed your capacity. You carry a fire that cannot be quenched, a resolve that cannot be broken, a destiny that cannot be stolen. Heaven has shifted you from weakness into strength, from silence into song, from hiddenness into holy visibility. This is your empowerment, to know that you are chosen, not by chance, but by divine design. To know that the ignored answer was not the end, but the turning point. To know that even now, heaven surrounds you, heaven strengthens you, heaven calls you into boldness. Do not shrink back into who you were yesterday. That season is gone. The time of hesitation has ended. The one who emerges from this fire is not the same as the one who entered. You are refined. You are elevated. You are empowered. Rise, beloved, for heaven announces that your wings are ready. Your voice is sharpened, your spirit is armed, and your time is now. Type "I am empowered" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 1010 now ignites your strength for the next season. The Spirit speaks with clarity now. The reason the answer was ignored was not to condemn you, but to reveal what had been hidden. Heaven allowed your eyes to pass over what was delivered so that the veil of distraction could be torn open. For how could you step into your next season while surrounded by voices that drowned out his whisper? How could you receive the holy when unholy noise was still permitted to linger in your atmosphere? The overlooked answer was heaven's strategy, not heaven's abandonment. Child of God, hear this. Heaven used the delay to expose the weights around you. The people who could not see your worth, the patterns that drained your strength, the distractions that stole your focus, all of these were unmasked when the answer slipped through your fingers. Heaven wanted you to see who and what had your attention in that hour. For if you had received without discernment, you might have clung to the blessing while still bound by the chains of distraction. But now, you see. Now, you feel the ache of what was nearly lost. And in that ache, discernment is born. This is not punishment. This is preparation. You were not denied. You were refined. Heaven is not cruel. Heaven is precise. What looked like delay was the Father carving space for the elevation that is about to unfold. The ignored answer has not vanished. It has been safeguarded. And when it returns, for it shall return, it will not come into the same atmosphere as before. It will come into a space cleared of distraction, into a spirit awakened to vigilance, into a heart trained by fire. Do not underestimate this prophetic moment. It is a divine unlocking. The scroll that was once overlooked has not been revoked. It waits, sealed by fire, written with your name. Your elevation depends not on what you missed, on how you rise now. The Father says, promotions are coming. Alignments are shifting. Doors once barred will swing wide. What seemed small will now be revealed as great. The very thing you almost dismissed will stand as the cornerstone of your testimony. And I declare this over you. Your name is inscribed in heaven's record. Though men may forget you, heaven has never lost sight of you. Though others may have overlooked your potential, heaven never ignored your prayers. You are inscribed, chosen, sealed. And when this revelation unfolds, no adversary will be able to deny it. The overlooked will become the undeniable. The dismissed will become the appointed. What was once hidden will now shine with brilliance. Take courage, beloved. This prophetic revelation is not just a word, it is the beginning of your release. Heaven has shown you why the answer was ignored, and heaven is preparing to restore it with multiplied clarity. Lift your eyes, for the unlocking has already begun. Type I am unlocked in the comments if you received this message. Blessing code 2020 now opens the gates before you. Chosen one, the time of hesitation has ended. The window has narrowed, but it has not closed. What was delayed now waits only for your declaration, for heaven has decreed that your destiny is not unlocked by silence, but by agreement. Say yes, for heaven awaits your alignment. Say yes, for the armies of God wait for the sound of your obedience. Say yes, for your future responds not to fear, but to faith. This is your hour to activate what was always yours. You have prayed long. You have cried much. You have asked for confirmation after confirmation, sign after sign. But now heaven speaks plainly. Obedience is greater than waiting. Heaven will not keep repeating what you already know in your spirit. The Father has not been silent. He has been waiting for your voice to echo His. The delay is not in His release, but in your response. The heavens stretch over you. Scrolls of blessing unrolled, angels poised to move, yet they wait for your word. Your declaration, your yes. Do not underestimate the power of your yes. When you declare agreement with heaven, doors swing open that no man can shut. When you say yes, the fire of delay loses its grip. When you say yes, the very forces that warred to distract you begin to tremble. Your yes shakes foundations. Your yes breaks chains. Your yes releases answers that have hovered above your life, waiting for the sound of alignment. This is the mystery of destiny. Heaven has already willed it, but it will not manifest until your obedience calls it forth. This is why the battle has been fierce. This is why distraction rose against you. Because hell knows that once you say yes, nothing will stop you. Once you say yes, the scroll is loose. Once you say yes, Archangel Michael marches forward with unstoppable force, tearing down what resisted you, scattering the shadows that lingered around you. Your yes is the key. Your obedience is the seal. Your faith is the weapon. Child of God, do not linger in hesitation. The time of waiting for perfect conditions is over. Heaven does not need your perfection. It needs your participation. The answer is not found in your strength, but in your surrender. Heaven is not calling for flawless execution, but for bold agreement. This is your destiny activation, to rise, to speak, to agree, to obey. The Father waits not with condemnation, but with arms ready to release. All of heaven leans forward, watching, waiting, listening for the sound of your yes. Lift your voice. Declare it now. Say yes to the plan. Say yes to the promise. Say yes to the alignment. For obedience unlocks what delay could not cancel. The ignored answer still hovers, still glimmers, still waits. It is time to pull it into your life with boldness. This is the hour. This is the moment. Heaven says, no more delay. Type ISAYYS in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 3030 now releases the scroll of your destiny. Chosen one, while you slept, while you wrestled in silence, while you walked through hours of unrest, heaven was not idle. The Spirit of God reminds you now that unseen negotiations have already taken place on your behalf. What you thought was lost has not been stolen. It has been secured in the courts of heaven. There has been a silent exchange in the spirit realm, an exchange that you did not witness, but one that carries eternal weight. Angels moved, ancestors interceded, heaven recorded, and though your natural eyes did not see it, your spirit felt the aftershocks. That is why you have felt unsettled. That is why rest has escaped you. The restlessness was not chaos, but confirmation. Something was happening behind the veil. Heaven has been negotiating on your behalf. While the enemy presented accusations, while voices of darkness attempted to argue that you had ignored the answer and forfeited the blessing, heaven's witnesses rose up to declare otherwise. Your tears were recorded as testimony. Your prayers, though weary, were written into the record. Your faith, though small as a mustard seed, stood as undeniable proof that you still belong to the Father's plan. And so, even as the adversary tried to lay claim to delay, heaven declared restoration. Even as the enemy cried denied, heaven replied secured. Child of God, listen carefully. What was stolen is being returned in silence. You do not need to fight for it in the flesh. The exchange has already been made in the spirit. The courts of heaven have ruled in your favor. The gavel has already struck. The decree has already gone forth. That is why you feel the tension, the pressure, the fire in your spirit. It is the ripple effect of what has already shifted above you. Though you cannot yet hold it in your hands, it is already yours. Though your natural eyes cannot yet see it, heaven has already sealed it. This is why the adversary works overtime to disturb your peace. He knows he cannot overturn the ruling, so he seeks only to unsettle your heart, to make you doubt, to make you restless. But even in that restlessness, heaven is whispering, "Be still." Even in that shaking, heaven declares, "It is done." Even in that unease, heaven assures you, nothing has been lost, only rearranged for greater release. The ignored answer is not gone. It is being restored in divine sequence, returned in a way that brings double clarity, double confirmation, double fire. Can you feel it? The stirring that has haunted your nights, the weight that has pressed against your chest, the sudden tears that fell without explanation. These are signs that heaven's exchange has touched your life. Do not misinterpret the shaking. It is not a sign of loss, but of return. The scroll has passed back into your hands, unseen, but undeniable, waiting for the moment it will manifest before your eyes. Therefore, rest in this truth. You have not been forgotten. The silent exchange has already taken place. Heaven's ledger records your name, your promise, your destiny, and nothing in the earth or below the earth can overturn what heaven has sealed. Stand still. Hold fast. Watch as the unseen becomes seen, and the silent exchange becomes your visible testimony. Type "I receive" in the comments if you feel this word in your spirit. Blessing code 4444 is now sealing your restoration. Hear the decree of heaven. The scales are shifting. What the adversary plotted against you is returning upon his own head. The schemes, the whispers, the subtle distractions that sought to steal your moment have been overturned by the righteous judge. This is the hour of spiritual justice. The very forces that rejoiced when you overlooked the answer are now trembling, for what they thought was stone has been reversed. What was delayed will arrive multiplying. What was resisted will return unstoppable. Do not think that your tears were wasted. Every tear was counted. Every sleepless night was recorded. Every restless cry from your heart has been preserved in the courts of heaven. And now the one who balances the scales has spoken. Justice will not delay. Those who plotted your downfall, those who whispered against your rising, those unseen powers that hoped to keep you blind, they will now witness the reversal. The trap they set for you is the pit they will fall into. The confusion they tried to cast upon your mind will return sevenfold into their own camp. What was meant to break you is becoming the very tool that builds you. Child of God, you must understand, heaven does not allow injustice to stand unanswered. The ignored answer was not overlooked by your Father. He saw the sabotage, he marked the interference, and he decreed, even before the enemy acted, that reversal would be your portion. That is why you feel the tension loosening. That is why a fresh breath stirs, even now in your chest. The sentence has been passed. The judgment has been rendered. The reversal has begun. The opportunities that slipped from your hands will not vanish, they will be restored with increase. The promotion that seemed delayed is circling back with multiplied favor. The door that looked closed will open wider than before. And the answer you once ignored will not only return, but it will return with clarity, so undeniable that no shadow, no voice, no confusion will be able to hide it again. Heaven says, the second time it comes, it will be brighter, louder, heavier with glory, impossible to miss. This is the mercy of God, to take what you almost lost and return it greater than it was before. This is the justice of God, to let the adversary watch as what he thought he stole is delivered back to you with increase. This is the reversal of God, to turn delay into acceleration, to transform sabotage into testimony, to crown what was ignored with the oil of undeniable manifestation. Lift your head. The time of justice has arrived. The answer you overlooked is coming back, escorted by angelic hosts, sealed with fire, shining with glory. And the same voices that doubted you will watch in silence as heaven vindicates you openly. This is not a small reversal. This is not a quiet shift. This is the justice of the Almighty unfolding before your life. Type divine justice in the comments if you feel this word in your spirit. Blessing code 777 now seals your reversal with holy fire. Hear the conclusion of heaven's word. The answer was ignored, but it was never lost. The delay was not denial. The silence was not abandonment. Archangel Michael came once, and though the scroll slipped through unnoticed, mercy prevailed. Heaven has bent time itself to give you another chance. The Father says, my plans are still alive. My promises are still sealed. My timing is still sovereign. You have not been disqualified. You have been awakened. Beloved, take this blessing deep into your spirit. You are sealed. You are seen. You are sent. Nothing can strip away the decree written over your life. What heaven authored, no enemy can erase. What heaven released, no distraction can destroy. You walk now under a canopy of mercy, a mantle of fire, and a shield of angelic protection. The answer still hovers, but now your eyes are open. Your spirit is alert. Your heart is ready. Rise boldly into divine timing. No more hesitation. No more doubt. The heavens declare that your obedience is your weapon. Your yes is your key. Your focus is your fortress. Go forward knowing that Archangel Michael wars on your behalf, that angels surround you, that the Father himself has declared your victory. Walk in peace. Walk in confidence. Walk in the unshakable knowledge that heaven's plans for you are unstoppable. And now, I release this affirmation over your life. You are chosen. You are covered. You are anointed. The window has not closed. It has opened wider. Take your place, step into alignment, and watch as heaven's timing unfolds with precision. You will not miss it again. You will not walk in blindness again. You will not be robbed again. The Lord says, "It is yours, it is secured, it is now." Type Amen in the comments if you receive this final blessing. Blessing code 999 now completes the cycle and seals your destiny in divine timing.